Welcome to the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi After the Show podcast, where we hang out a little bit longer.
And of all the subjects we cover and topics discussed during the show, during the week, I love to dig into your comments and what you have to say about these things in and after the show podcast. We can take our time with it and really dig in. So from Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, even email at murphysamandjodi.com, Julie sent this regarding Grateful Friday. Grateful that my daughter is getting married tomorrow. Ooh. Grateful for everyone who's had a hand in raising her and her fiance. Grateful that they found each other.
That's awesome.
Lovely.
Congratulations.
Everyone who's had a hand in raising her. I like that because it's true. It ends up being true. Mm-hmm. Hope you have a great, wedding weekend.
Yeah, we have not experienced that yet, Jodi, you and I. Not that we're not in any rush to do that, nor are our daughters in any rush to do that.
So they say. But we like that.
But I can see how. I can see how when that day actually comes, it really you start to take stock of all of it. You really it reframes. I mean, Sam, you've already been through that with your kids who've gotten married.
Watching them get married.
It's different. I mean, because it's like, okay, I guess you are grown up now.
Stage of life.
Yeah.
My mom sort of, taught me that lesson indirectly. Growing up, going to weddings of family members, and you're so focused on the couple and the bride. And I remember at my cousin's wedding, my cousin Candace, when she got married, my mom said, "Look at Hoja." Her mom's name was Hoja from Korea, and my Aunt Hoja. She just looked like it was a huge moment for her. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was just, and I was like, oh, wow, I never thought to really pay attention to the mother of the bride or the father of the bride, because in that moment, everything is about that couple, but everyone is affected in a different way in the family.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying to me is unique about it. I think, yes, universally, it's hard to believe that's where they are in life. Where I'm getting at is really what, she's saying in the email there is you're taking stock all of a sudden. It's like, wow. This is an important. Wow, I'm so grateful to be at this point. Wow, I'm so grateful that
Yeah, it's a pivotal point in your child's life, and so you naturally sort of look back from where they were.
Go, wow, yeah. How did it actually happen this way?
Yeah.
Man, I'm getting old.
No, it's the way it's supposed to be. You want to see your children grow and become whatever they want to become, right?
Yeah.
Also, Brandy sent this for Grateful Friday, and this is the cutest thing because it's a picture of her dogs. I feel you. Two of many things I'm grateful for are my fur babies, and the picture has she has a white dog and a black dog, and one of the dogs has its paws crossed. That's my favorite thing, Brandy, in the world. We've got one that does that.
Our oldest dog, Champ, does that, and he's done that ever since we've had him. Yeah.
He's just so fancy. Yeah. He is. I want to say this earlier in the week, too, on the show. I've been wanting to mention this to you, Murphy. We talked about how if you have a dog who's anxious, it's a lot of things that you end up having to do, crate training, giving them chews. But there are a lot of things that you can do to sort of help ease that. But one of the things that's recommended was make sure you tell them a little goodbye. Dogs are all about routine and what they can expect. So the longer a dog's been in a routine, they know it when it's potty time and bedtime and treat time. They know the sound of your car. It's all about, so if anything throws that off. So if you make you leaving to go to work part of the routine and you make them a part of it, like you go and say goodbye to them and choose the same words lovingly, Mama's going to work. I'll be back later. You're my favorite. That's what I say to Champ. And I've made a point.
The other dogs really feel bad about that, by the way. Just so
they're
really
not my favorite.
Makes them feel lesser, Jodi.
Oh, man.
I do love the other dogs, but they're not my favorite.
Yeah,
Champ
I hope they're not listening.
You can have that with pets. But what I'm saying, I used to do it, Murphy, more broken. Like I would do it when I remembered or I wasn't having a late morning. I wouldn't do it every morning. So this week I've been doing it every morning. And do you know that this morning he was looking at me waiting for it? He was waiting for me to walk over.
Knocked out. Asleep.
Yes, he was sort of watching me, waiting for me to go over and kiss him and tell him he's my favorite.
Yeah, we leave at different times. I always tell them goodbye. What's crazy about it is I always thought it was just silly to do. I mean, literally, I've always told them it's the, bye-bye. Actually, this is so goofy.
Bring it.
Because you know how nicknames will come out of something. And so I don't know where this little nickname came from. If you're people call lovingly call people baboose or something like that, and babushka, and then so now I just tell them babushkas is what I tell them on the way out.
All three.
But they know. I mean, and all three of them are looking at me when I leave.
It's for them.
But I never thought about that in terms of the email we got this week about that being. Was it an email?
It was a study.
There was 3 things to know. About it reducing anxiety as part of the pattern.
Because they're all about routine. Your pets. Cats, maybe not. They do pay attention, but dogs more so.
Do you give them a time frame too sometimes?
I mean, no, later.
What, like
Mommy will
I'm
be back
leaving in
later.
10 minutes?
No. It's like, when I leave for work, I have treats whenever I leave for a long time.
Love it.
Gus gets a bone and the cat gets some kibbles.
Good.
But it's like if I'm just like going to run quick around the corner and back, or if I just got home and run, I'm going to be back in just a minute. And then as I'm leaving, I'm thinking, they don't know what just a minute means.
Actually, if you have consistently said just a minute and you come back pretty quickly, they do. That's what I'm saying.
Sure?
They are so sensitive to routine. That's what makes them fantastic guards for a home. If anybody different drives into your driveway, they're all over it, because if it's out of the routine, they're alert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Jody. It may not be precise down to the second, but if you say, whatever the word pattern is that they hear, they'll associate it with it. If you're coming back and it's daylight, then they'll know that. If you're coming back and it's not daylight, that changes the game also.
That's why with training, you have to be so consistent. Like, you have to call it crate or kennel. You can't call it, you really shouldn't call it both. Not that they can't, but just as consistent as you can be, and we've always been that way. When it's time to go to bed and we do the nighttime routine, Murphy does potty time and he claps, and man, they cannot wait to go out and potty. All together.
No, because they get a little treat before they go to sleep, too.
But they also know that potty time, they know what to do.
Yeah.
You could stand there and not clap and go potty time, and they would go outside and pee. It's impressive.
But then they would wonder, why is he not so excited this time?
Yeah, right.
It's just a little thing you can do for a dog that's anxious, but you have to be consistent with it, with the words and, what you say.
Problem
They'll learn it.
Especially in the colder weather, is because I walk out to the edge of the patio with them, because I don't. Remember, we had grass put in for one section of the yard a year ago. I don't want them going there because they're killing the grass. So I'll walk out to the edge and they don't go there. As long as I walk out to the edge, they won't go there.
Yeah.
But if I don't go outside with them, not only do they, is there a chance they'll use that part of the yard? Sometimes they don't go potty at all because it's not the routine.
Yeah.
It's like Edie's waiting for me. The dumbest of our 3 dogs, Edie, is she's the one who's waiting for,
We love her, but she's not smart.
I do. I love her,
and
she loves me. But yeah, I mean, it's really one of those where it's like, okay, that after you eat, you normally go. So I'm going to stand here. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it, but it's time to go.
Right. I forgot.
Right.
She thinks she's stuck outside when the door's open. We're summoning her back in, and she's like, what?
This sounds like stand-up comedy Jody's doing, right? Our dog is so dumb. Yeah.
All right, so we're talking about
right.
when you leave, but what do you do when you come home?
Oh.
Is it a big production?
Well,
because mine is.
I've learned if you don't want them doing zoomies, then you don't say a word. But I do. Absolutely greetings.
Yeah.
Hey, I missed you. You're my favorite. And I get all the excitement.
Yeah.
I like it.
I usually have clap time.
Oh, yeah?
When I come home, Gus is standing there and he's like, hey, he's waiting to see what I do. And it's like, hey, Gus. And I was like, yeah, woo. And he'll just, some of the zoomies, or he'll try to jump on me. And it's like, let's go to the back door.
That's cute.
What you are describing is why pets, I think, help with people and through life. I will always have pets. I've always said that.
That's why they're called companions.
They are. They just help you get through life. Sometimes, it's just, it can make you happy even on your worst day.
Yeah.
When you have a bad day at work, Gus doesn't. He hopefully kind of takes a little bit out of the way.
He does.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
So fantastic.
Now, the cat, on the other hand. Hey, wee!
I really do.
What?
I really do like cats. We haven't had one in years.
Yeah.
We had them.
I'm not
them.
I'm not in a rush to get another one, just so that you know.
Well, I know. We'll probably never have another cat because of Phoebe. Our youngest daughter, Phoebe, is very. If she gets cat hair, if there's cat hair in a room and she touches her eye,
she's
it's over.
hyper allergic.
So we can't. But I do miss having cats. I think they're kind of cool. I like their temperament.
Katie says, first, I'm glad you're okay. This is about the kitchen accident with the exploding Pyrex dish.
Okay.
Secondly, don't be embarrassed, which is what we were telling you. You don't need to be embarrassed about that.
Mm-hmm.
I've had this happen a couple of times. It's a great reminder of what not to do when cooking.
Yeah.
One time, had grits cooking in the slow cooker overnight. And I took the glass top off to mix them, stir in cheese. But I washed my hands again right before I picked up the lid.
Yeah.
And a sprinkle or two of water must have gotten on the lid because as soon as I picked it up, it exploded. Broken glass went everywhere, including all over the grits.
Aw.
Sad thing about it is I was taking them to work for a breakfast potluck.
Oh.
So I had to stop at Chick-fil-A to pick up something else on my way. That's not a bad backup plan,
Yeah, no
Katie.
kidding.
Katie,
there's
I had
nothing
to
wrong with that.
we had to get Chick-fil-A instead of having pork tenderloin the other night when I
Yeah.
did the Pyrex, water on the
I
Pyrex.
guess that's the go-to.
And it did explode. Glass everywhere.
Katie says, moral of the story is it happens, but accidents like this are a great reminder to share with everyone. So hopefully they don't have the same experience. Yeah, I agree with that.
Days have passed now. I've forgiven myself for it, and I'm really glad to have happened and for us to have shared it. Because as long as I've been cooking, and for me to do that, anybody new to cooking would not necessarily know that. If you weren't taught that in science or didn't retain it, maybe you were taught it and didn't remember it. Do not put water, even room temp, or certainly not cold water, on a hot Pyrex. It will explode in your face.
I think about my daughter, Maddie. She started cooking a lot.
Yes.
And she doesn't know anything about Pyrex, so I could see her doing that.
Yeah, and it's dangerous.
Well, and even when you do know, muscle memory takes over. You get so used to a routine of doing things. Sometimes you just do things without thinking. You know what I mean? Because it's so commonplace and routine for you.
Correct.
Jodi, you got one here from Peter, too, about the Pyrex.
Hi, Peter.
Thank you for the heads up on the Pyrex glass cookingware and what can happen. I heard about this on your show. Please keep up the good work.
Thank you. Right. See, I'm glad, you'll think of that. Not that, look, I love Pyrex. We have lots of it. We have measuring cups that are Pyrex and all that. Yeah. And now, of course, I need a new pan. I think I might just do some more metal pans after that. A little bit of sort of PTSD after the explosion.
Yeah, I was going to say you usually use them for lasagna, but you make lasagna in the slow cooker now, so it's
both ways.
Not so much.
The last thing I made in the before the explosion, I made brownies in the Pyrex for Valentine's Day.
Were those the flat Dolly brownies that came out so good?
Yeah, Dolly Parton mix. Yeah. They were so good. And we thank you for jumping in. We do read and see every single comment that you send to murphysamandjodi.com.
Missed any part of the show? Get it all on the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi podcast.